Jason, if you don't know Jason, he has been already in our Twitch for some occasions. So basically, he's the lead game designer for Drakensang Online.
Hello.
Hello, Jason. How are you doing?
I'm great, thank you, and I'm happy to be here.
Good. As I said, the reason why we wanted to have Jason today, it's because we saw, especially on the forums, but also on social media, that there are ongoing questions on communal topics. So we decided to address them directly and ask Jason, which speaks for the whole game designer team, what is the outlook on things, what are the future plans for some of the issues he has presented. So hopefully you will find this interesting, and so let's go. Okay, so Jason, first question is quite general. So what is your assessment after the release, the hot fixes that I just mentioned? Where are you guys at? What are your priorities at the moment? Can you tell us?
After 1.5.5 released, we immediately jumped into monitoring. We collected data, we're looking at the information, we're reading forums. Every day we look at things that didn't turn out entirely perfect the way we planned. It would have been awesome if everything came out perfectly the way that we had planned, and that every single class was balanced and every talent were working perfectly. But that doesn't really happen in the real world. We can play test and we can do live testing in our the big feature environment, and we can have as much QA time as needed ahead of times. But there's a huge difference between having like a few dozen or a few hundred or even a few thousand players experience your game and start playing it and testing it, to having it in a live environment and having tens of thousands and even hundreds of thousands of players doing that. And so right now we're in the process of looking at everything we've done, and we're measuring and we're identifying issues that we'd like to fix, things that need to be rebalanced, things that need to be tweaked just a little bit. Like I said, right now, when we started planning the content extension, one of the first things we decided was, once we knew when we were going to release it, we booked ourselves some time for polish and for balancing and for recalibration, and also to give a little bit of time so that we could look and see how the players reacted to it and what they learned about it and what their feelings were about things like the new skill system and the new content. And now that we're starting to collect that information through the forums, through just like our bug reports, through our community management, and through other sources, now we're starting to make changes so that we can adjust and make the game even better. DSO is a live product, it's a service, and we are always making it better. Just like we fix bugs on a daily basis, the content extension, it's no different.
Okay. Well, one of the things that comes, quite to the eyes if you go into the forums, on social media, it's the cry of the Dragon Knights.
The cry
of the Dragon Knights. So basically, there is this opinion. It's an ongoing opinion among some members of the community, that the Dragon Knight itself got. Let's say that they feel that the class has been nerfed too much, and that it's no longer at the same level as the other classes. So of course, they find that this is a little bit unfair for them. So. What is the opinion of the team on this issue?
All right, I'll speak on my opinion. First of all, my primary character is a Dragon Knight.
Okay.
When I first started playing, it's the character that I play every day. I log in and actually play the game, and so yes, I am a Dragon Knight, and I have great sympathy for my fellow Dragon Knights. I did notice that yes, I seem to have lost a little bit of combat effectiveness. And the first thing I would like to do is say that I assure you that there was never a plan to, as Haruki says, to nerf Dragon Knights. There was nothing like that. But the first issue that came up was that we noticed that one of the critical formulas was not working as designed. That was a formula problem, and it was fixed in one of the bugs. One of the hot fixes. The biggest issue is that these changes take time, and we, rather than like fixing something and pushing it out to the live environment as soon as possible, we need to make sure that a bug is behaving the way that, that there's an actual problem. We need to look at the data. We need to analyze it. We need to be able to see if we can reproduce it in our environment, and then we need to actually figure out what went wrong, and that involves looking at the code, looking at the game design, looking at all the formulas, and determining what exactly was happening there. Is it happening the way it's described? And we need to subtract every bit of, I would say, like emotional experience around it, and look at the actual hard, cold facts of what actually happened there. And then when we figure that out, we can fix it. We submit it to our wonderful development department, and our programmers then identify the problem, they make the corrections, and then we start testing it. We both test it with the game design team, and then we submit it to the QA department. And so we do recognize that the Dragon Knights, the poor noble Dragon Knights, have had a little bit of a setback in their combat effectiveness, and we're collecting as much information as we can so that when we make a fix, if we make another big fix, it'll be the right fix. This is one of those cases where we need to measure twice, cut once, because the last thing anyone wants is for us to be making changes and then having to make another change and another change. And think of it like a boat, where you don't want to just keep running from side to side every time the boat starts to rock, because that's just going to create a problem. You want to get towards the center and let the boat stabilize. And so that's really the position we're at. We're collecting information, we're reading the forums, we're reading the Facebook comments from all of our devoted players, and we're listening, and we're adjusting things as quickly as we can, yet at the same time trying to make sure that we do things